It felt great. I got a lot of shots in today, so a lot of form shooting, and I think that really helped me in my confidence. Just telling myself that you are a good shooter. I had to bounce back from the West Virginia game.
When you have been in a little slump, how big is just seeing kind of one go through?
Yeah. Once I see one go through, I'm pretty satisfied. As long as I don't go over, that's the only thing. But if I hit one, I'm like, okay, you can hit more. But when I get cold, I'm like, get layups.
How big was also her defense today?
Oh, it's great. Jamie's defense is always great. So just when I don't know if she knows this, but I mean, personally, I feel like when she gets up and gets at it, we just start flowing. So, yes.
Coach, did you just feel like things were coming your way tonight, finishing with a double-double there?
Yeah, we just kind of flow. I know we were talking about let's get high post touches and just see backside, and that's just what we did all night, and we're just feeding the post. So.
I asked their coach about you, and he felt like you and Caitlin were just kind of in a rhythm. I mean, are you kind of getting that sort of feeling with her?
Definitely, and she sees me. She knows. She tells me, "Hey, look, I'm when I get it, I'm looking for you." So when she says that, I'm just ready.
Just how good for either of y'all did this win feel?
Great.
Yeah, great.
But not satisfied.
There you go.
You were on Gabby, seemed like most of the night. Talk about that challenge. Obviously, you did the job on her most of the night.
I don't ever want that challenge again. Ever. But I know Gabby. We're both from Tulsa, so I know her game. I think it was pretty smart for me to guard her because I've been watching her since we were in middle school. So, I know Gabby. Gabby's really good, and she might get me back at K-State. So we're going to have to switch up the matchup because I am not going to guard her again. Yes.
I mean, that's got to be kind of a tough matchup.
Yes, it was. But, I worked my butt off.
But how important was it just to kind of figure out that zone defense? Because I think back to November, y'all kind of struggled in that area a little bit.
I think it was great, especially really emphasizing on high post and look down because it was so open and just us trusting it and going back to it every time. And if that didn't happen, I think we moved the ball really well on offense. So if that didn't work, they rotated over. Well, we had a backside. So I think it was really important just to keep doing that, finding the ins and outs. So, if teams do zone us, it's not a problem. We have other options.
Jamie, you mentioned y'all weren't satisfied. Obviously, each game's different. Each team that you play is different. But what do you take out of this that you can kind of build on for Texas?
I think our defense, we built. If the offense don't flow, your defense always has to flow. So whether we win or lose, we have to take defense to the next game regardless.
What was the message coming into tonight after those back-to-back losses? Did this kind of feel like a must-win or need to get back on track?
I think we calmed down. She didn't come screaming at us. It was like sometimes this happens. You can have a really good week. You have a really bad week. You can't dwell on the really good and the really bad, and I think that's what we did. We hung our heads after West Virginia, and I think we came back, and now we're holding it high. But now we have to hold it higher against Texas.
Bugs, Coach mentioned a couple games ago that she was talking about you've had some really good games and then maybe some quieter games, and that you were having to learn kind of the physical nature of the Big 12. Do you feel like you're getting a handle on it?
I think so. I think that, honestly, me, if I come in just a mindset of, like, just free breathe, I'm good. Because when I do that, I think when I'm thinking too much, oh, my God, I have to be physical, I have to do this, that's where I mess up at. But just learning once you get free and then eventually it just comes kind of like today, I feel like some moves, I'm like, okay, I'm not thinking about it. So, yeah, there have been ups and downs, but I think just coming in with a free mind and just playing and get your first couple points, you're just going. So.
It was a nice yell after the foul.
Thank you.
Jamie, I asked that question you answered. Y'all said y'all were hanging y'all's heads low after West Virginia. When y'all gave up that 12-4 run today and then came back, I think it was like 20-4 run. Just how were y'all able to do that?
Just telling ourselves we can't let this happen again. Just when you have seniors on the court, it's like, we got this, y'all. I think you're the only freshman on the court with us. Yeah, I think it's easy to pull everyone along because we're all upperclassmen except Dariana. So I think, we can tell her, like, come on, you got this, So I think it's very easy for us to, sometimes pull it together and pull the lead back up.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah. But if I actually had to grade our defense in the first quarter, it looked like two teams that are on losing streaks, honestly, and trying to shoot themselves out of it. Like they took a ton of threes in that first quarter and we're just missing, And granted, they've been missing all Big 12. But they're still capable, and you don't want, our conversation before the game was we want them to go 2 by 2 by 2. So when they're just firing 1 3 after the other, we're like, that's not the game plan, We've got to do a better job of making them attack the lane, get in rotations, because they're really good straight line drivers when they can get all the way to the rim. But if you stay on their hip, if you have rotation, they don't play over and around and pass around once they've put their head down. And so we wanted to force them into some of those bad running twos, down the lane line. So I thought our defense picked up, quite frankly, in some ways when our offense picked up. But yeah, it was good to see them miss a lot of threes. I thought early, it's so hard because it's not like we weren't taking open threes, but we need to not take the first 3 early in the game. We need to get paint touches. And once we started getting paint touches, and a lot of that was when Bella came into the game and Kate was getting the ball in the high post. Bella was doing a good job of sealing and getting behind them and shooting layups. I actually thought Asia was doing a good job just not putting the ball in the basket. Erica didn't do a bad job, just didn't put the ball in the basket. And so I thought we did a little better at getting the ball in the tunnel, into the lane, because we were always going to get an open 3 at some point in a possession. We just didn't need to take the first one. And when we started to probe and get paint touches with the pass or off the dribble, we had them shifting, moving, we were making extras, and now all of a sudden you get that rhythm 3 that you're ready to take before you even catch it. And so I thought that was a big part of it. And then I thought our defense ramped up. One of the things that helped us is, when Shamasti checked out of the game with 2 fouls, even though analytically she's not the greatest three-point shooter, she still forces you to guard her out there. And when they sub and they bring in their backup post, it allows Caitlin to really roam and help because Gregory's a handful in the post for Jamie. And so that was a big help to us. We had a lot of protection around the rim in that scenario. We get stretched out more with that starting lineup that they played. And so I thought that was good. And then slowly and surely, I thought Bugs was hiding against the zone. Like, she's just learning to play against zone. And I thought she was hiding. She didn't hide after she sat for a quarter and a half. When she went in the third, she was fantastic. Fantastic finishing around the rim, rim running. I think it helped. They tried to jump in their 2-1-2 to start the third quarter, and we just dialed it straight down for a layup. And so that took them out of their ability to run that. It scared them. And that was good because that's one of those things that they can go to create a turnover, to put a little extension on you. I give long answers. I'm sorry.
How good of a game was that for Jamie and just, her to see the ball go through the basket a little bit, and then you mentioned her defense on Gabby.
Yeah, I thought, I thought she was even better than you'd give her credit for because I thought they didn't call a couple push-offs that I thought were pretty clear on the drive or on the post-up. One of them, she scored right in front of our bench late in the second quarter, and I don't think there is a more obvious push-off call. So she draped on her. I mean, I think we went under a handoff early, and then we stopped doing that. And her baskets that she got from 3, Jamie wasn't guarding her. We got mismatched in transition, or Bella was on her. So Jamie did an incredible job, and it was good because we had backside help. She needs help when she's fronting, on the low post. But I thought she was really, really good on her. And And in general, like I just thought, she missed her first three. But then I thought she really heard the message of attacking, giving up one to get another one, made a 15-footer, was running in transition, just was solid. She's never going to be that creative, create a lot of shots for other people, but she also doesn't turn the basketball over very much. So, we had 3 people out there most of the night, and Caitlin, Jaden, and Sarah, that can facilitate and find.
You mentioned the ability to kind of take Kansas State out of some of its sets, some of its zones. When you think back to November against like UIW, what's changed since then to be able to, really attack a zone like that?
Yeah, I was saying this on the radio. A year ago in November, I thought I was just a terrible zone coach. Honestly, like I was. I'd spent 5 years in the pros, and you don't run zone offense in the pros. Like, if you see a zone, you're seeing it 5% of the time, and there's defensive 3, so it's not a traditional zone. So you're running a lot of man sets, and you're just slipping them, and you're looking for space. And so, I felt good about what we were running, but we weren't very good. We weren't a good execution zone team in November, and quite frankly, we were terrible up at K-State when we played them in early January. And so, I was searching. I mean, I was in the weeds on, am I running the wrong zone offense? Is there something we can do better? But really it came down to working on it, like really getting them to understand the spacing and when you can attack and what the zone looks like and what they're going to cover up, what they're not going to cover up. It's no different against the man. Like, is it aggressive? Are they high on the wings? Are the corners open? Is the short corner open? I mean, when we got short corner catches, for the most part, we were good. But when we got high post catches, we were great, and that's kind of what we developed last year. And I thought that depending on our lineup, we could play more of a power game against that team. Now, when they play Lauterbach, she's really tall. And so she's hard to play over, so you got to get her away from the rim a little bit and play under and take it up quick. But it's about finding the seams against the zone. And there were times when they had no answer. We go short and drop. We go high post and drop, and we're shooting uncontested layups. And so, when you have 28 assists on 29 baskets, you're being pretty unselfish.
Nikki, they made a little run there in the fourth quarter, and y'all answered. I mean, they got it down to
12.
Could have been 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
11, and they had another free throw to make it 10. But anyway, y'all answered though. How good was that to see?
Yeah, well, I mean, that wasn't a very friendly timeout, because it's that idea of you can't take your foot off the accelerator. You just can't, and a team that gets to the free throw line at a high rate and a team that is capable of going off from 3 is the scariest kind of team with a 3 or 4 possession lead, and so, and the one thing I don't like doing, especially against zone, you don't want to milk the clock, especially against the zone, because now you don't have any ball movement, you haven't made them shift, and so, it was about still playing with pace, and getting stuff early in transition before they were set, and we did a good job 2 times in a row of scoring off a little set play, a 2 and then a 3, ran it twice in a row and got 2 different options out of it, and then just, started to rebound. It's a team that when you shoot a lot of threes, it's going to be long rebounds. And you got to secure them before you go run the other way. And so, I think that's what it comes down to. Like, are you rebounding? Are you taking away the 3 and playing without fouling? And for the most part, they got 8 free throws, and this is a team that goes to the line a lot. And one of the kids that went to the line was a kid that's taken 6 free throws all season. And Shamasti, she was 3 for 6 on the season. So she added to that today right there at the end.
Coach, Jamie said following the West Virginia loss, you didn't come and yell at them, but you really managed to calm them down coming into this game. How do you feel like you did that?
Look, I think you try to read the pulse of your team. I don't think that, I could be wrong, but for most teams today, yelling and screaming falls on deaf ears. To me, it's about teaching. What were the teachable moments? When the West Virginia game was over and I'm watching it on the plane on the way back, I didn't wake up the next morning like uber discouraged. Like, I knew that we didn't execute well enough. I think there were things as coaches we needed to be better at in that game in terms of our ball screen coverage and really being all on the same page, you know, and playing downhill and shot selection. And there's so many areas, you know, like I know it's cliche to say, you know, I don't lose, but I really believe that you either win or you learn. And if you take that approach, you have a chance to build off a loss, and you certainly have people's attention more after a loss. And you know, like I said, I think the beginning of that game was two teams that have been a little on the struggle bus for a week, you know, that were trying to shoot themselves in to being confident as opposed to work the ball, attack, and, you know, and so when we settled down and we started to attack, I wasn't even frustrated when we were missing, when we were getting easy shots. Like, that just, Asia looks like she's got a heck of a lot of rust, you know? I mean, she was just so happy to make that last layup, you know, because she wasn't making bad decisions. She just wasn't putting the ball in the basket, you know? And I think in time, she will, you know, she will. But it's just, it's a long process. Like, she's practiced very, very little for 2 months. Like, and so, you know, I don't know how you're +8, you know, when you go 1 for 8, but she managed, and her 3 offensive rebounds were all, I think, misses that she missed herself around the rim. But she's going to get back and give us another weapon. But I thought Bella gave us good minutes early, and then I thought that third quarter Bugs was fantastic.
How big can a win be, especially going into this 4-game stretch you guys have in front of you?
Yeah, I don't. Left foot, right foot to me. I mean, sometimes I need people to remind me what's next because I'm so tunneled in on what's now and preparing for what's now. I mean, I know I have a day off. Believe me, I know we have Texas on Sunday. But honestly, then I know I have to go recruiting because we have 2 days off after that. So with our bye week. So I don't get very far out in front. I mean, it's you can't. I just don't think you can. I think the league's too good. And it's about what's in front of you. The only one that suffers from that, me not knowing what's going on, is my dog, who I'm always scrambling to find someone to watch him because I realize there's a road trip ahead 2 days before we're ready to go on the road. And Michael asked me what time we want to leave. So, you know, but I think that this was good for us just going into the Texas game. Really important to have, like, a little momentum coming in. Now, obviously, stylistically, it's like night and day. Texas isn't going to play a zone. They sure as heck aren't going to pick us up at the three-point line. And so, and as far as I know, they lost. Did they end up coming back, or did they lose to? Right? Texas Tech has gotten them twice, once last year too. So, you know, so they're going to be even a little edgier, you know, when they come in here. So I would just challenge our fan base to rise up. You know, we really need this to be our best crowd so far this season, and I mean our best crowd by 30 or 40%. Like, we need people. This team needs people. This team deserves people cheering them on, and because I promise you they're going to be there at Moody when we go down there. So, you know, we've got to show them, you know, but we're still there, 1 game out of first place and clipping along, and we just got to play 1 game at a time. You got it.